Hi everyone, this is Impulse. Today is gonna be slightly different. No Warzone, no gameplay, none of that. And let me tell you why. So for those who are watching this channel, you might have noticed that I'm playing a lot of game in Warzone, COD, and maybe others. But this is not a secret, this is not my main job at all. So a few days ago, I posted a tweet if people were interested in me sharing my journey into the VFX industry. Because, it's been 10 years now, and I'm like, why not talk about it too? Video game is fun, but this is truly my job. This is what I do every day. I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed it. I'm not a pro gamer. I don't live off of that. This is for fun, and I will keep doing this. I love video game, truly, and I love having fun with this. But I think also the VFX industry and the job that I'm doing could be interesting for you guys, and maybe those who don't want to watch video gameplay or anything like that can watch my journey into the VFX industry. So, without further ado, let me tell you how I became a lighting supervisor. So first of all, I'm 30 years old. You might probably heard by the accent, but I'm French. I'm born in France, in the south of France, in a city called Montpellier. Since I'm a child and a kid, I've been passionate about movies overall. I grew up with Star Wars, E.T., Independence Days, all the Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, and so on and so on. Like, this could be like an hour-long list of movies that I was crazy about. And then obviously with those movies, the VFX was very minimal, but I was always wondering, how can they do this? How? What's the magic? What's the technology behind it? So yeah, I was always intrigued by how they made all of those effects, but I couldn't put any word into it. But then the DVD appeared, and when the DVD appeared, they were releasing the movie, but also the collector edition. It was usually 2 discs inside, with one was the movie and one was all the making of, bonus, etc. And I wanted that. So I could see the interview, the behind the scenes, how they shot, how the VFX was done. My very first, I believe, collector edition was the very first Spider-Man. I always remember some people were saying that Christopher Reeve made them believe that men could fly. Well, guess what? When I saw Spider-Man, to me it was real. I was like, damn, this is actually real. I was a kid, right? So yeah, a bit naive. So obviously, I was in high school, I was 16, I didn't want to do anything in school. I didn't want to study, I didn't want any of that. Just see my friends, going out, have fun, and school was secondary. So, my parents were a little bit panicking. They were seeing me slacking at work, not being great. So they knew what was my passion. Movies, video game, drawing. So there was a school literally 10 minutes away from my home. My parents were like, go there. There is an opening day. Go for it. Go see. And it was, Saturday at 10:30. And I'm like, why I'm going to go there? They're ruining my Saturday morning. I don't want to go there. But, my parents asked, so I'm going to go. And that was literally the moment where I could actually put words into what I wanted to do, being a VFX artist. That was a VFX school in Montpellier, still there. It's called Objectif 3D, and I'm grateful for the school, but also will be forever grateful to my parents that found that school for me. That was it. So my parents took the hard decision to take me out of school before 16, before I have my bachelor degree. I was 16, I left, joined that school, and that was a big bet. It was a 3-year process, and during that time I had to do some short film, student movie, full CG, and off we go. As a student, you will make a show reel, which is your book, and you will apply it to studio. So, when I was a kid, I had a big dream, then I could maybe, hit those big companies and those big films right away, but guess what? Not happening. I finished school in 2011, but, time to chill a little bit and gather my stuff and make a plan of attack to where to apply and how. I went to Paris in 2012. It was a very hard time for the VFX industry and even the movie industry period. There were literally no job, nothing. I was with my friends, USB key in hands and sometimes some disc, and walking in Paris, knocking doors, and like, hey guys, are you looking for a junior artist out of school? Motivated, let's go. And they're like, yeah, no, sorry, like, sure, you have maybe a good profile, you seems like a good kid, but we literally have no job. So during that time, I was in Paris and I didn't give up. I found a job to pay the bill, my rent. I was in telecommunication. I stayed there for a year, and then an opportunity came in. One of my closest friends now found me a job, literally. They were looking for someone for 3 months. That was in another city than Paris, a couple of hours away from it. So I went there. And that was my first show, Garfield the Cat. And here we are in 2013, finding my first job. So, worked on Garfield, then it was a 3-month contract. I finished, went back to my place in Paris, chilled for a couple of months, and then everything started to come. And everything started to accelerate. Like, a friend of mine there was like, hey, there is a job here, do you want to come? Let's go. So went back to a company in Paris, work on cartoon again, which was fine to me. I was happy, like I wasn't complaining. I had a full year of stress looking for a job and, never close to give up, but it is depressing, So I was in Paris working on cartoons for most of it. But, some of my friends started to take off and go to Vancouver and Canada and, movies like Batman v Superman was being made. Some of my friends would start to work on it. And I'm like, damn, like I need to go there. But what's the path? Because jumping from cartoon to a AAA blockbuster or Hollywood movie, like there's a little bridge here in between that you need to be able to cross. So I had the chance in Paris to find people that I wanted to do indie short film, but live. I joined this company called SUPAMONKS Studio, which is an amazing studio. They do really cool stuff. I really advise you guys to check them out. They're great. And they host people that would make their own short film. They won't be paid, but they will at least give the machine, they will support them, they will guide them technically, visually, and it's great. You're surrounded by professionals, and I learned a ton. And to me, that was a crucial moment of my career that allows me to take off and reach my goal. I had the chance to work twice with them, with 2 different teams of people. So 2 different short films. Got a bit of luck, those short films really worked out internationally, truly. So I wasn't like in the spotlight either, but it was different than what student was showing and different than anything else. So some doors started to open for me. So now we are at the end of the year 2015. I got a couple of short films, I got some prize, a couple of different cartoons, started to work on movies a little bit, and then now, time to go to the UK. I got the chance to get called by Access Animation to work on their movie and get my first UK experience, learn the language. I must admit, learning English in Glasgow was a challenge. I don't know if you guys know what it's like there, but I strongly suggest you to take a look on YouTube. That was rough. Like truly rough. I wasn't speaking English at all, truly, and I landed in there and I'm like, oh boy, that's not gonna work out. But I did it, so I'm like, guys, if I did those things, you guys can 100% do it. Don't be scared of the language. It will come. You'll struggle, they will come. So I stayed almost a year in Glasgow. I used to work in Glasgow and Edinburgh. I did 2 companies there. That was really fun. I made a lot of people and amazing people there. But then I got the chance to go in Montreal. I got reached out by this big company called MPC, and they were offering me a 4-month visa, which was, I must admit, challenging and scary a little bit. Being like, okay, this is 4 months, how this is gonna work out for the long term, right? Because you can be renewed and it's fine, you get another visa, right? But sometimes, who knows, the job might not be there, or they don't need that many people. So I was kind of prepared to not being kept more than 4 months, but you still have the hope, right, of being kept. Anyway, took my bag and flew to Montreal. I had the chance to have a lot of friends there too. Got like a warm welcome from them. It was nice to see them all in Montreal and even work with some of them. Funny story though, because most of those guys were in my school too. So the world is very small, my guys, like in this industry. It is so small, you have no idea. So yeah, I had a chance to work on a movie called Ghost in the Shell. I worked on two sequences. One was the water fight, and another, I did a couple of shots, nothing crazy, mostly at the end of the movie. But then yeah, I had to leave MPC because there weren't enough work. All the movies in production were finishing at the same times. It's classic, it's the industry, it is what it is, like no hard feeling. So you know, don't let yourself down. So I applied everywhere. Like what I'm telling you, everywhere, it's everywhere in the world. From like Vancouver, the US, New York, back in the UK, like everywhere. And I had the chance to get an answer from a company in Toronto called Rocket Science VFX. So by that time, I'm not a junior anymore. I consider it as a middle artist. So the rank you have, you know, junior, middle, and senior, and lead, supervisor, VFX suit, and so on and so on and so on. I started to work for Rocket Science for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I took a little break in between. I went to a company called Mr. X, and then I came back. You know, sometimes it's nice to get like a little fresh air then there. I came back to Rocket Science, and since I did like a lot of shots, a lot of different projects, all of them challenging in their own way, that allows me to grow. Like from a lighting artist to a lead, and to now a lighting supervisor. So right now, I had a chance to work on shows like The Boys, like Wednesday, Lock and Key, The Expanse, a couple of movies like Crime of the Future that got nominated recently to the Canadian Screen Award for the best achievement in visual effects, the TV show Halo, Foundation, and another that I can't even name yet, but should be fun. So yeah, this is my journey so far. I will go into deeper detail in another video. First of all, I want to see how this one works for you guys. And if you have any questions, please drop a comment below. I will try to reply, or depending on the question, I can make a video centered on that or trying to reply in the comment. I will totally do. We can go specific in my job, and we can maybe react to shots, or we can go technical and even more. So yeah, that's me, Impulse, lighting supervisor, VFX artist in Canada. I hope you had a good time watching this. I hope that was inspiring. I hope that I answered a couple of questions from you guys, or fear, or you know, how this is working. And please, if you want more, subscribe. Ciao guys.